Honorable Minister, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, students, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to this very wonderful meeting, which is unique in many ways. Some issues have been highlighted, like basic scientists move in one direction, clinicians move in the other, and this is one effort to bring them together somewhere so that they agree on taking the petri dish answers to the real clinical scenario so that you can utilize the progress in the basic sciences to a clinical outcome, which can actually ultimately benefit the patient, which is the bottom line. Now, the whole effort owes its beginning to Dr. Gopala, Dr. Gopinath, when they thought about it. And carcinogenesis as a concept, when a clinician has to look at it, could be a little bit, I won't use the word repulsive, he would be a little concerned that it is going to be all about a cell and probably will never come out of it. But the idea is to actually get into it and come out of it and also take along with you the basic scientists into the clinical world so that they realize that the efforts that they make in a little remote corner of their lab is worthwhile. Now we as a country and as a continent lag behind when it comes to basic research. We have a large volume of patients, so clinically we are very rich, but volume is our strength as well as our weakness. Because when you have volume, you can do a lot of work and you can actually reach some logical and statistically significant conclusions. However, at the same time, to put it to practice, the economic constraints, financial constraints come into play, and you may not be able to implement what are called as American solutions to Indian problems. So we need to be looking at Indian solutions to Indian problems. Now, how do you find those solutions? You got to first find out the Indian problems. So this is therefore an effort to actually find out what are our true problems, real problems, because sometimes you end up looking at a tree by just looking at its leaves. Well, the problem is in the roots, and the roots are that we haven't done enough to actually address the issue that is cancer. Cancer is emerging as an epidemic, and probably we'll be dealing with it much more than we were dealing in the past. Unfortunately, the type of cancers that we deal with are advanced, and we attribute it to many factors, including the efforts of the government, the education of the people, their understanding, and their kind of resistance to change, which I can put in a manner that I perceive that they still continue to come with the same old dogmas and they still have the same beliefs about cancer. They believe that cancer is incurable, and they hide it, and there are still many factors which need addressal. Gopala was touching about screening or detecting or preventing, and the future belongs to a scenario where you prevent disease, but an ideal scenario, of course, but it's going to take a little while because we'll have to work at whether we need screening or not in a population that's so huge. The scientific program was designed in a manner that you have components of each aspect, that is basic sciences, clinical research, and also the therapeutic parts put together for the benefit of the actual benefit that should go to the cancer patient at the end of the day. Now, there is a quote by Tagore. I'm sure most of you must have read it as school students. I had an opportunity to read more about Tagore than others. The first light that touched my eyes was from our own sky, and let the same light kiss me before they closed forever. Now, the light essentially is about knowledge, and the whole ethos of our culture and our scriptures is to move from darkness to light, and this conference is a step in that direction. We are all walking towards finding out solutions to our problems, first finding out the problems, and hopefully the solutions to our problems. Now, this is going to build on and actually will ultimately be developing into a much bigger force which will work at all aspects of cancer rather than looking at just one organ and one modality of treating a cancer of that organ. Therefore, there was always a need to bring together the basic scientists, the distinguished scientists who are working in a lab and finding out answers for us, and to put it to practice, the clinicians who actually use it every day. Today's program actually brought out lots of issues which would need addressal, and hopefully when we meet again and when we continue to have these meetings, those issues would pile on and we'll address them. I hope and I sincerely wish that you have a wonderful, wonderful time scientifically, because end of the day, all that you take home is the scientific content of the conference and the warmth of hospitality. Now, the second part has been taken care of by and large, courtesy Dr. Sood and Dr. Dowell. The first part, we're going to live up to it for another couple of days. So all the best, good luck, and have a good time during the conference. Thank you and good night.